Mute on.
And webinar. Just out of curiosity, I would like to take this moment to ensure that everybody can hear me. If you cannot hear me, please note that in chat 4 and I will be happy to assist you. Fantastic. It seems as though the sound is coming through loud and clear, so I'd like to thank you for joining us today. We have a wonderful presentation on behalf of Visit Wales and Connection Tours. And once again, I would like to remind you that there will be a question and answer period at the end of the webinar. So should you have any questions regarding the destination or any of Connection Tours offerings, please save them until that time and I will be happy to direct them to the individual in question. If that is all and if everybody's ready to go, let's get this all started, and please pay a great deal of attention because it is a fascinating destination and we're all very excited to hear about it. So by all means, I will turn the floor over, and if you have any questions for the moderator or any difficulties, once again, that is in chat 4, and one of us is standing by to assist you. Thanks, and enjoy the webinar.
Well, hello everyone. This is Lauren Summers. I am the Director of Marketing for Visit Wales, and that's the tourist board for the country of Wales. I'm not in Wales. I'm actually located in New York City, and I represent all of North America. So I cover Canada and the United States, and there's one other person who works with me who's not on our webinar today, but definitely someone that you may be in touch with in the future, and her name is Jennifer, and she works in the New York office as well. So I'm so excited to be here today to tell you about a destination that is very near and dear to my heart, not only because I represent it, but also because I think that it's one of the most beautiful, extraordinary places on the planet, and that is the small country of Wales in the United Kingdom. Now, for those of you who don't know, the United Kingdom is England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and Wales. Wales is an independent country, but also part of the United Kingdom, so we have our own parliament, we have our own history and heritage, we have our own language, which you'll hear about shortly, but at the same time, we're part of Great Britain. And so that comes as a surprise to some people, but I know that Canadians are way more geographically astute than people in the U.S., so maybe not as much of a surprise to you all as the people that I'm accustomed to talking to around this area. So let's take a look at this first slide, and our title today is Wales, a Traveler's Playground. I'm going to be telling you about the country, and then you're going to hear from Connection Tours a little bit more about the kinds of activities, the itineraries that are available. And I love starting with this picture. This is on the island of Anglesey in North Wales. It's this gorgeous little island called Llangollen Island, and it's a tidal island. So what happens is when the tide gets low, you can walk across the bridge there onto the island of Llangollen Island. This gives you a sense of the beautiful Welsh coastline, one of the things that Wales is famous for, but because our title is a traveler's playground, you're going to find lots of interesting, fun things to do, ways to play and enjoy a vacation in Wales. So let's get right into it. Let's look at some of the fast facts about Wales, things that you can kind of hang your hat on and tell people. If you don't know anything else, you know that Wales is the capital of the world when it comes to castles. We have 641, which is more per square mile than any other country in Europe. And right now you're looking at Conwy Castle, which is in the north of Wales in a little town called Conwy. It's a medieval walled town. You can still walk the medieval walls. You can kind of see them a little bit in the background. And it's right on the coastline. So you have this beautiful bay and this bridge that takes you into the center of town. Just a gorgeous place to stay. One of the places that I recommend people base themselves when they're traveling in North Wales. Also in North Wales, you'll see Snowdonia National Park here. This is one of our 3 national parks, and you're looking now at the view from the top of Mount Snowdon. These people, obviously very intrepid travelers, they've climbed up to the top, but if you didn't want to climb up to the top, you could take a narrow gauge steam railway to the top of Mount Snowdon. We have 10 great little steam trains in Wales They take you through some of the most gorgeous countryside, and the trip up to the top of Mount Snowdon is no exception to that. We also have 6 UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Wales, and these are sites that have been designated as world preservation, as demonstrating some of the greatest innovation, development, in human history and culture. This one is called the Pont Cysulta Aqueduct. It's also in the north of Wales, not far from the English border and the town of Chester. And if you look here, you can see a red boat going across the aqueduct. And that boat is one of the interesting ways to enjoy this UNESCO World Heritage Site. You can travel across on this narrow boat on the canal there, or you can walk across along the wall that you see next to the boat. That's another great way. If you're not afraid of heights, you might choose to walk. If you are afraid of heights, you might decide to stay safely inside the boat. We have 5 areas of outstanding natural beauty, and these would sort of be similar to our national parks. These are places that the government in the United Kingdom has said are so beautiful, they're worthy of preservation because of the landscape itself. And this is the Wye Valley, the beautiful River Wye pictured here, a great place for walking, for boating, for picnicking, a place that has inspired poets like William Wordsworth. People have come for centuries to the Wye Valley just because it's such a gorgeous region of Wales. We have 870 miles of beautiful, pristine coastline in Wales. And here you'll note another great feature of Wales, which is our golf courses. This is Nevin and District Golf Course, and it's in the north of Wales. And if you look down on the left-hand side, you'll see a little beach there, and that's just by the 9th hole. So if you're playing golf on Nevin and District, you can walk down to the 9th hole and you can have a pint at a little pub on this beach called the Teacock Inn, and then go right back up and continue with your golf game. So not only a beautiful place to visit, but also a great place to stop and enjoy the pub culture. We have 200 golf courses in Wales, and I just mentioned some of the courses along the coastline, which are links courses. Those are courses that golfers love to play because that's really what golf was invented for, playing it on the coast, having the challenges of the wind and the air, the sea air, and still being able to hit your ball straight. That's the kind of thing that really gets golfers going. So it's important to know that we have links courses all over Wales. And our capital city of Cardiff is just 2 hours from London by train. Cardiff is in the south of Wales, and if you fly into London Heathrow Airport, you're just going to get on the Heathrow Express. It'll take you 15 minutes to Paddington Station, get off at Paddington, and there's a train every hour from Paddington into Cardiff. What you see in this picture is a building that we're very proud of in Wales. It is our Wales Millennium Centre. This is where the Welsh National Opera performs, where a lot of the theatrical shows take place. Little known fact that you can go and see a Broadway or a West End stage production when they travel to the United Kingdom. A lot of times they go to Wales, and this would be where you would see it. Of course, not as many lines. Tickets are easier to get, not as crowded. So really great option for clients who want to enjoy the theater to consider going to Wales. Now let's get into some of the reasons why you might want to visit. Now that you know the fast facts, we want you to know what an enchanting destination Wales is. It's really Britain's road less traveled. A lot of people don't realize that it exists even, and if they do, they're not sure what's there. Now, I feel a little guilty being the tourist board rep saying, you know, a lot of people don't know that my country, Wales, exists, but that's the reality of the matter. And if you think about for yourselves as travel agents, how many of you have sold London before? How many of you are regularly selling England or Scotland or Ireland? Well, when I do this little quick quiz, the hands go up for London, everybody's hand goes up. You know, about maybe 50 to 70% of the room raise their hand for Scotland. Ireland, a few more people. And then when you ask how many of you have booked Wales, the hands go down. And that tells me that you travel agents are sitting on a gold mine, because the perfect visitors for Wales are the people who have been to London, Scotland, or Ireland before. They enjoyed it. They love the fact that English is spoken everywhere. They love these enchanting experiences, the real Britain, the pubs, the tea rooms, the rolling green hills, the beautiful mountains, the gorgeous, unique coastline, and most importantly, they love the British people. And nowhere can you find a more authentic example of this than in Wales. So all those clients who have already been to England and Scotland, who've already been to London, and are saying to you, you know, I'd really like to go back to Britain, but I want to do something different, they are the perfect clients for Wales. I have to mention, because in this picture on the left-hand side is one of my favorite places. This is a little tea room. And look at it. It just looks like something straight out of a fairy tale. I'm not even going to tell you the name of it because it's really hard to spell and pronounce. But I will, if any of you would like to know, please ask me in the Q&A afterwards. Remind me to type it in for you. But it's in the north of Wales, and it's in a little town called Llanrwst. And it is just like something straight out of a storybook. But that is the real thing. You can go in there and have a lovely afternoon tea. So now that you know some of the reasons why you need to go to Wales, why you need to send your clients to Wales, let me tell you how to do it. Wales is a welcoming country. We can't wait to welcome you into Wales, and certainly once you realize how easy it is to get there, hopefully it will not be your last time. It will be the first of many visits. Our capital city of Cardiff, as I mentioned, is just 2 hours from London by train, and if you look on this map, you can see Heathrow Airport on the right-hand side. Notice Gatwick is just a little bit further away. From Gatwick, you can get into central London and get a train to Cardiff as well. And then when you look at some of these other airports, Bristol, Birmingham, Manchester, Liverpool airports, those are all about an hour to an hour and a half from the border of Wales. So still very convenient connections from all of the other airports. From Bristol and from Manchester, you can take trains into Wales. Now, if you look on the left-hand side of the green portion of this map, which is the country of Wales, you'll see in the blue boxes. So in the north, that's Holyhead, and in the south, that's Fishguard and Pembroke. Those are all ferry connections. So you can take a high-speed ferry from Holyhead to Dublin. It gets you there in about 2 hours. It's a big ferry with casinos and restaurants on board, so really pleasant trip, and that's the high-speed ferry. There is another ferry that's not high-speed. It's a little bit longer of a trip and not quite the same quality of a ferry, so you always want to check when you're booking your clients whether or not you're putting them on the high-speed. Then let's talk about Cardiff Airport, which is down in the south. As of right now, there aren't any direct flights into Cardiff Airport from Canada, but we are working on that, and hopefully we'll be able to give you an update within the next 2 years that that has changed. But you can fly by connection through Aer Lingus or through Delta KLM into Cardiff Airport. And Cardiff Airport is really very small, like the size of a postage stamp. So for those people who are open to taking a connecting flight or maybe an open leg journey with Amsterdam or with Dublin, it is a really convenient way to get into the country. When you look at regions of Wales, we break it out into regions much like where we live. We're broken out into different regions, central and east and west. Wales, even though it's a small country, it's about the size of the state of Massachusetts in the U.S., it still has a very distinctive regional flavor depending on where you are. So you've already heard me mention this is in North Wales. Certain things are in North Wales. And North Wales is known for the castles of King Edward I, as well as for Snowdonia National Park, which we've already seen a little bit of both of those. And then Mid Wales is known for the Cambrian mountain range and the Brecon Beacons National Park, which is right on the southern border with South Wales and Mid Wales. Southwest Wales is famous for the Pembrokeshire Coast National Park. You're going to see a little bit more of that as we go. And then in South Wales, that's where our capital city of Cardiff is. Now, one thing that is really important to know is a lot of people say, well, Wales is so small, you've got to be able to get through it pretty quickly. Maybe we only need a day or two for our trip to Wales. While you can visit one region of Wales in a day, you definitely can't do the whole country in a day, even though it's small. And that's because We've got all these different mountain ranges across the country. So when you're traveling, you're on windy roads, there are hedgerows, you have to take your time, and it takes about 4.5 hours to drive from the south to the north or vice versa. So if you're really wanting to give your clients an in-depth experience of the country, you would want to give them at least 3 days for one region. And if you wanted to give them, a good feeling for the whole country, you would give them probably 6 to 7 days for the whole country. Now here you see one of the places that we're very proud of in the southern part of Wales is Rosili Bay. This is about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours from Cardiff driving, and it was voted the #1 beach in the United Kingdom by TripAdvisor fans. And it's also important to note we have some beaches in Wales that have been voted #1 in the world. Some of the cleanest, some of the most fun. People really enjoy these because, as you can see, they're not overcrowded. They're wide, beautiful scenery, both on the ocean side and on the land side. So just keep in mind that you've got these great beach experiences to enjoy in Wales. Now, I talked a little bit about the target clients for Wales. I'm not going to go too much into it because Connections Tours is going to give you some more information about that. But remember, I said it's really the repeat visitor to Britain who's ready to go off the beaten path and explore a little bit more. And for that reason, Wales also appeals to independent travelers. But likewise, there are a lot of great things for families, for groups, for people who want to do a road trip, or for people who want to do a rail trip. So just keep all of that in mind when you're thinking of your clients who could be right for Wales. I talked a little earlier, and I said we had 6 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. So looking at the top left, you have 4 castles in North Wales that make up what was known as King Edward I's Ring of Iron. And this one you're looking at is Harlech Castle, and it combines with Beaumaris Castle, Conwy Castle, which we've seen before, and Carnarvon Castle. Those are the 4 King Edward's Ring of Iron castles. Then here's a great picture of the Pontchy Filter Aqueduct on the right. We saw it earlier with the boater going across, and in this picture you can really see the altitude that it's over 100 feet high, and the ground that it covers, why this is such an amazing site of human heritage in the world. Now on the bottom right, we have our Blaenavon Industrial Landscape, which is in South Wales in the Brecon Beacons area. And this is the place where you can go to learn about the coal mining history in Wales. Wales used to be the world's largest exporter of coal. And the Titanic is said to, it's a story about the Titanic that the reason why the Titanic had such a fateful ending is that they were burning Welsh coal, and they underestimated how quickly they would get to their location. So their routing was a little bit wrong because the Welsh coal burned so clean and so fast that it actually made the boat move faster than regular coal. Now, whether you believe that or not is up to you, but I'm just telling you a little bit about why the coal in Wales was so prized. And this Blaenavon Industrial Landscape is a mine. It's not operational anymore, but it used to be. And this is where you can go down the mine with a miner who used to work in that mine and can tell you all the history. This person is probably someone whose grandfather worked in that mine. And I did this experience myself, and it was one of the most heartwarming connections that I made to learn about these miners, their families, their stories, and to see their passion for the mining experience and for their culture and sharing it with us as visitors. So really encourage you to think about that. It is also one of our 7 free national museums. So really important to know when you go to that coal mine and do that experience, it's completely free. And here are the other of our 7 free national museums. You can see some pictures of them on the left. The top one is St. Fagan's National History Museum, which is an open-air museum that includes lots of buildings that were reclaimed from all over Wales and give you a sense of what life in Wales has been like across the centuries. And then on the bottom left, you see the National Roman Legion Museum, and this is Caerleon, which is one of our best preserved Roman amphitheaters in Britain. So a lot of people don't realize that we have Roman ruins in Wales. The last one I want to point out to you is the National Museum in Cardiff, and that houses one of the world's best collections of Impressionist art. A lot of people would not think about going to Cardiff to see Impressionist art. You would think, well, France is the place to go to see that. Well, did you know that the second largest collection outside of France is actually housed right there in the Free National Museum in Cardiff? So important to keep in mind there. Again, there aren't lines, there aren't crowds. Chances are you're going to have the artwork all to yourself. This is our National Slate Museum, which is in the north of Wales. So in the south, they mined coal during the industrial era, and in the north, they mined slate. And slate mining is still taking place. This is a wonderful example of how that actually happens. You can watch the miners doing demonstrations there. They are real miners. They will show you how to make slate by hand, and they might even, if you're lucky, do what they did for me, which is carve you a little heart out of slate. Here's a fun one, and if you guys were all in the room with me and we were talking face-to-face, I would set out the $1,000 challenge, which is I will give $1,000 to anyone who can say this fast without hesitation. And sometimes I do that, and there's someone who can say it, and then I have to quickly leave the presentation before they ask for their $1,000. I'm just kidding. But usually, people are really moved by this because it shows the Welsh language and what a tongue twister it can be. The Welsh language is the world's oldest living Celtic language. The Welsh that you hear spoken today in Wales is the same Welsh that would have been spoken before medieval times. So believe it or not, you could put a Welsh person from ancient times in a time machine, bring them into today, and they could speak to a modern Welsh person. They would understand each other because they're speaking the same exact language. What does that tell us? Well, it tells us when we go to Wales that we're going to hear this amazing, ancient, historic language. And I won't tell you anymore. I'll just pronounce some of these words so you can see what it sounds like. So on the left-hand side, we see a sign that you'll see everywhere, welcome to Wales. The Welsh people are very welcoming. And in Welsh, we would say, Croeso I Gymru, which means welcome to Wales in Welsh. Now on the right-hand side, you see the longest train station name in Britain, and that is Llanfair Persgwyngyll Goger Quindrobus Montecilio Go Go Go. So next time you come to a presentation with me, if you can say that fast, and I put out that $1,000 challenge, you be ready, okay? Practice. All right, now here we're looking at Carnarvon Castle, and this is one of King Edward's 4 Ring of Iron castles. This is also a special site because it's where Prince Charles in 1969 was made the Prince of Wales. And one day, when Prince William becomes the Prince of Wales, he may have his investment ceremony there as well. So I'm just going to close. I'm getting ready to pass it over to Connection Tours so they can tell you all about their great itineraries and Wales programs. But before I do that, we do our fast facts again for your, in case I decide to give you a quiz later on. This is where you take your cheat sheet from. What makes Wales special? Our 870 miles of beautiful, pristine coastline, our status as the castle capital of the world with more per square mile than anywhere at 641, our 200 golf courses, 45 blue flag beaches with special environmental designations because they're so clean. We have 3.3 sheep for every person in the country. So if you love sheep, this is the place to go. A lot easier to get to than New Zealand and closer, although not quite as many sheep as they have in New Zealand. I think we're running a good second. Our 3 national museums, 6 areas of outstanding natural beauty, 6 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, 3 national parks, and 2 national languages, of course, English and Welsh. And the one thing that isn't on here anymore, we used to have one very happy royal couple, Prince William and Kate, spent the first 2 years of their marriage living in North Wales on the island of Anglesey. So that's it for me until we have our Q&A session. And now I'm going to pass it over to Connection Tours.
Thank you so much, Lauren. So my name is Ian Cowan. I'm from Connection Tours, and we've been customizing travel for Wales, the UK, and Europe for since 1986. And what I want to discuss with you very briefly is I want to go over some of the more, explore some of the more powerful venues and activities that this incredible destination can offer your clients. The whole point is to convert this information into revenue for your agency, and that's what we're here to help you with by customizing. This converts into special interest travel, niche markets, such as obviously garden groups, music performance groups, educational travel, FITs, family, friend groups, everything that you can imagine in the niche market, Wales can supply. If you only had one chance to really enjoy the whole of the United Kingdom, Wales will be it. It has everything. It has the culture, it has the mountains, it has the scenery, it has the coastline. It's a remarkable destination. What we can do for you is we can supply you with tailor-made itineraries as per your group request, or even a unique for a family group. We can obviously do all the land arrangements. We can offer you the air nets. We can also do your presentations for you and help you with support and in-sales marketing. By virtue of doing the presentation for you, if you had a group, I'll give you an example. If you had a performance group that was thinking of integrating Wales into their travels, we would come along and do an audio-visual presentation as your partner. We would also give you a huge amount of support in sales and marketing, and Visit Wales are helping us as partners in that, because they have a wonderful hard copy. It's called the Wales View Vacation Planner. And this is something, a hard copy that you can pass on to your clients, because clients still love hard copy. And we have a whole office full of support material for you to pass out to your clients. And for Canadian agents, why Wales? From north to south, it's only 4.5 hours drive. I'm literally going over some of the information that Lauren had already given to you. Accessibility for all ages. You can actually get seniors up to the top of Mount Snowdon, as I have in the past, and also on the miniature railways. They can travel throughout Wales very easily, as the accessibility is extremely good. Excellent hub and spoke. Literally, I was working a short while ago on an itinerary for the Lake District, where a group of ramblers, a group of hikers wants to be, and then they want to go to Snowdonia. But they wanted, excuse me, they wanted to stay 2 weeks in each destination. So it's great hub and spoke, because there's so much they can do. They can stay in one destination, one spot, and then they can go out on daily adventures. It's a very easy add-on to England, because as Lauren mentioned, to get from Heathrow going right along the M4, that'll get you right along the Severn Bridge. That'll get you into Wales within a couple of hours very easily. You can also add on an itinerary, as we've done so much, going into Stonehenge, Salisbury Cathedral, Bath, and then into South Wales. Alternatively, you can do the Lake District, in Manchester, Liverpool. You can move into Snowdonia and add it on part of there, York even. All these wonderful regions, and especially Chester, of course. All these wonderful regions of England you can add on, and of course, you can complement Wales and England by the same itinerary. Alternatively, you can also go from, as we've done before, of course, go right up the A5, cross to Anglesey, and cross over to Dunleary, straight into Dublin. They have high-speed ferries. It's only 2.5 hours, very easy to get through, very good access. You can go from Fishguard on the Welsh coast, South Welsh coast, right over to Wexford, and that can start your adventure around Ireland and finishing off in Dublin. You can even get up to Scotland very easily. The network, the rail network and road network up to Scotland is very accessible. All these can be added on to complement your itinerary. So it's of value to, and I'm going to pass this over to Samantha now. She's going to go into a little bit more about what the value is for Wales for your clients.
Okay, hello everyone. So for such a small region, as Lauren said, Wales is a tourist destination that really packs a punch. There's such a wide variety of opportunity here for so many niche interests. So what we've done here, as you can see on this slide, is we picked the prominent areas of opportunity and created several themes where we really think Wales would relate best. As you can see, repeat British travelers, absolutely, because of course a lot of people have been to Britain but really haven't gotten an experience as in-depth as this. Also active adventurers and foodies. These are two special interests that are widely celebrated throughout the country, as you'll see in a moment. Also, travelers interested in art, history, literature, and fantasy would also benefit incredibly from traveling to Wales, as the castles here date back to Celtic forts from 3,000 years ago, tracing through the Norman era 800 years ago, and into the extravagant Georgian and Victorian eras as well. The myths and legends in these castles and in the ancient mountains of Snowdonia and the Black Mountains have been preserved for even longer. There's also whispers of fairy gardens and mystical forests that lie well within the Kept Valleys. This would be huge for Gen X, Y, and millennial markets who have really become enthralled with shows such as Game of Thrones and video games like The Legend of Zelda, which sold 57 million copies in North America last year. It's the 10th largest video game, followed by Final Fantasy. So hand in hand with this captivating fantasy and history, there's also an accessibility and fun for all ages, which makes Wales a great opportunity for family holidays with a bit of safe adventure to boot. I've also mentioned performance groups, garden and nature groups, golf groups, and romantics, which are also great opportunities, again, widely celebrated throughout the country. I'm going to continue on. What I've done here is elaborated on only the foodie and the adventure theme, but that's not to say that these are the two top niche markets you should be looking at. I just think they'll give us very brief examples. The authenticity of Welsh cuisine and the organic way in which it's fostered gives us a wide variety of really unique opportunities in Wales for those with a special interest in food, wine, and whiskey culture. Wales really takes a great pride in their food and drink culture and celebrate local and organic produce across the country. It's here that foodies can meet with the food producers face-to-face. They're growers, farmers, learning from them, participating with world-class chefs in courses across the country, tasting the pure local and organic produce, ancient recipes and traditional dishes wherever they go. These are all opportunities that give way for an ultimate foodie experience. So what I have here is a 10-day itinerary. This depicts a 10-day trip through Wales for a custom food and drink enthusiast. This itinerary is jam-packed with everything in mind. All activities, highlights, must-dos, setups, along with the best routing options to incorporate into any itinerary program. I'm going to start on day one. This itinerary that I'm looking at here starts in London, and foodies would tour across the Severn Bridge into Wales. And they'll make their way northeast along the beautiful drive around the Wye Valley into Abergavenny in Monmouthshire. This is the gastronomic capital of Wales. Along the way, however, we're going to stop in Kate Humble's farm in Humble by Nature. This is a farm that runs specialist courses in animal husbandry, rural skills, and cookery, and also acts as well as a host to many other food events throughout the year. A trip to Treely's farm charcuterie can also be in store along the way to learn techniques employed by some of the most exceptional British charcuterie on a private food and farming course. Other highlights can include a visit to Anchor Hill Estates Winery for a taste of the world-famous sparkling white wine that was voted by Italy as the best sparkling wine in the world in 2012, knocking out many famous champagnes in France. It's definitely a must and not a place to miss. Then it's off to Abergavenny, the market town of Wales. If you have foodies interested in food traveling through the UK, it is best to go to this town in September because there is an Abergavenny Food Festival. It's one of the leading food events in the UK. There's an incredible 220 stalls across several sites in the town, and the festival comes complete with master classes, tutored tastings, talks, forays, debates such as sustainable food issues, changing attitudes to local food, and GMO development. There are also two famous restaurants in Abergavenny, the Hardwick and the Michelin Star Walnut Tree Inn, both with beautiful high-end accommodations to boot. These restaurants provide authentic local produce found at the very suppliers we had met earlier in the day. So it really makes the first few days an incredibly packed trip with plenty to do, see, and sample and indulge in. Moving on, 3 and 4, for days 3 and 4, for the food and drink enthusiasts, as you can see so far, the best itinerary ideally is sticking to coastal areas. An absolute must include the city streets of both Cardiff and Swansea. In the capital, Cardiff, of course, no food and drink tour can be complete without a visit to their AA rated restaurants. They have a very unique bar and restaurant scene as well. The Great Welsh Cider and Beer Festival is also on from June 4th to 6th, which is not just fun for foodies, but anyone with an interest in that type of culture. On day 4, we'll continue into Swansea. In Swansea, the largest covered market in Wales exists. This is extra special because it's a market that is a century old. It carries a century-old tradition of market trading in the heart of the city. You'll come to some of these stalls in Swansea and meet people who have been serving the same people for generations and generations. It's absolutely incredible. An opportunity also exists in Wales with an organization called Food Adventure. They hold out-of-the-ordinary cooking classes across the entire country, really extraordinary culinary opportunities. For example, in January, just outside Swansea, foodies can enjoy a jam and chutney masterclass, which will be held in Vaughnmont Castle. It'll be followed by a private tour, and Vaughnmont Castle is actually an 800-year-old Nordic castle, which really adds to the experience. From days 5 and 7, we will continue through the Pembrokeshire coastline. Beautiful. That's where a lot of the golden beaches are, and it's an absolutely beautiful drive. There's plenty to do along the way, but where we're going to end up is in Aberystwyth, which is honored with the best food market in the whole of UK by BBC Radio 4 Food and Farming Awards. Now, this market only has 30 stalls, but what's really original about it is that it boasts a really unique traceability to the food sold there. You can only get that fresh local produce with that characteristic taste in that area, in that town. There's 2 festivals I want to mention on this journey between days 5 and 7. The first one is a fish festival that's continued from June 27th to July 5th. It's packed with over 150 events for family foodies and the like. This includes free classes and free entrances to some of the adventure outdoor activities that we normally would pay up front for. Year-round, there's something called the Taste Trail of Ceredigion. It makes its way for an incredible behind-the-scenes foodie journey. Basically, it's 30 passionate food producers across the region who have come together to provide a journey for guests to explore flour mills, organic vegetable producers, chocolatiers, multi-award world-winning cheesemakers, foragers, crab fishers. There's even a brewery. If you want more information on the Taste Trail, I encourage all of you to check out tastetrailwales.co.uk. They have an incredible producer's map showing you just how in-depth we can get on those 3 days. I'm going to skip ahead to Snowdonia on day 8. We'll travel up north to Snowdonia National Park and make our way to the island of Anglesey. This is the mother of all Welsh produce, as they say. It's home to Britain's best mussels and oysters. They're also famous for their Bottadern butchers. And of course, if you haven't heard before, their taste of famous Anglesey smoked sea salt makes a really great gift for going home. On day 9, their last day is in Conwy. I know Lauren spoke a lot about Conwy. It's an absolutely beautiful, beautiful place. No food and drink tour is complete without a visit to Bonnant Welsh Food Centre. It's right here in Conwy. If a food and drink enthusiast is traveling to the UK at all and you only have 1 day in Wales, this is where you go. This most definitely is an area, it's the culinary center of excellence. It's set in an old stone farm building on the Bonnant estate near Conwy. Here's this is a warm and welcoming community at Bonin, and they welcome us in, showcase the very best of artesian food that Wales has to offer. Here, foodies will explore and enjoy the farm shop tea room. There's a famous restaurant, a dairy bakery, a cookery school, and all of these facets use homegrown produce harvested from the estate itself. You can also have the opportunity to stay overnight for a really full, enjoyable, relaxed night stay. But a warning, you might not want to leave. I've met these guys. They're absolutely wonderful. On day 10, that's when we would leave. Travelers can transfer to Manchester for their journey home. They can go up to Lancaster to the Lake District. They can head back to London, or they can travel through to Holyhead for a ferry to Dublin. So that's just kind of an idea. I wouldn't encourage you to stuff all of that onto one itinerary, but really for a foodie theme, those are some highlights for you. The next I want to talk about is active and adventure for Wales specifically. Now, this is really important for everyone. There's a lot of millennials, Gen X, and Y who have New Zealand on their bucket list. Why? Because it's a popular adventure destination and it's a really, really warm, welcoming community in New Zealand. Baby boomers have also proven to us that active adventures can easily work its way into any itinerary. For these markets, specifically anyone who's interested in going to New Zealand because the offerings are quite similar, Wales becomes an achievable adventure, especially for those interested in active lifestyle or the thrill of the adrenaline rush. The great other thing about Welsh Adventure is that the communities offering these activities provide a truly inviting and friendly atmosphere for travelers. They allow them to share experiences with each other with like-minded interests. And I think this is really important, not just for Gen X and Gen Y, but for everyone to really have a fantastic, welcoming experience. The accessibility for adventure in Wales is also attractive for all ages, regardless of disability, which we'll see in just a moment. Wales is the founder of Coast Steering, the capital of mountain biking, and home to the longest, fastest ziplining operations in the world. The country is host to over 50 islands, 2 national parks, nature reserves, and mountain ranges, all Lauren explained earlier. Traveling to Wales is the ultimate active and adventurous quest, and how little Canada knows of it. I'm going to show you this. These are just a few of the notable festivals happening all year. Could you imagine a Canadian coming back saying that they participated in the World Bog Snorkeling Festival? Things like that happen all over the country and really involve our travelers as well. It's something incredibly out of the ordinary, something to bring home to talk to your friends about. Going into the itinerary, when it comes to putting a sample itinerary for an active adventure in Wales, there really is no avoiding jam-packing a 10-day trip with a variety of different options and opportunities. Again, it would be difficult to do it all. There's just so much to do in such a small place. The first activity on the itinerary takes us to Cardiff, which is the capital of Wales, at the International Sports Village of Cardiff. This is home to an Olympic standard swimming pool, ice rink, but it's also home to the International White Water Centre, one of the most popular active destinations in the UK. Now, this is a part of a really large regeneration project currently happening in the UK within Cardiff. Upon completion in the next couple of years, we can also expect an indoor snow facility with real snow for skiing and snowboarding, as well as a hotel. I would imagine that this would be a really popular practice point for anyone gearing up to do it in the mountains. For now, active adventurers can enjoy the whitewater rafting, kayaking, and surfing right in the heart of Cardiff. On days 2 and 3, we're going to head up north for the real adventure to begin in Brecon Beacons, home to the mountain range and national park. This is 6 peaks that comprise Brecon Beacons, and it includes the popular Ridge Walk Beacons Horseshoe, as well as many fine hill walking, kayaking, canyoning, climbing, gorge walking, caving, horse riding, and mountain biking experiences throughout this profound waterfall country. For the equestrian enthusiasts, I really want to highlight here, especially because one of Connection Tours' first special interest tours to Wales back in 1994 were equestrian tours, and Brecon Beacons is the place to do it. 5 riding centers here work together to provide a range of different options for visitors. It covers 805 square kilometers of land, and one ride even fits in some pub stops. So if you want more information about equestrian in Wales, definitely let us know, and visit www.ridingwales.com for more information on that. I'm going to skip ahead to mountain biking in Brecon Beacons. Bike Park Wales is a facility with an intricate network of incredible downhill biking trails with an opportunity to ride their high-end $6,000 bike rentals for just a minimal daily fee. I really do hear good things about their carrot cake at their local cafe, but also their trail guides and trainers are top-notch. So anyone from any level can begin mountain biking in this area. A visit to Avan Park is also really popular. There's an amazing mountain retreat lodging accommodation on site, and it is also a must visit for any downhill mountain biker, for both the beginner and intermediate rider. Day 4, before leaving Brecon Beacons, a trip to the National Showcase Center. This is a cave complex with a dinosaur park in Abercraft, is an absolute must on our list. This is 16 kilometers of tunnels and underground caves, including the Cathedral Cave, full of rarely seen straw stalactites, underground lakes, and large all-encompassing domes. The Bone Cave here is especially interesting for historians because 42 human skeleton remains are found here, dating all the way back to the Bronze Age. And it really shows what the profound struggle was like to survive in those early stages of history. We're going to continue to Swansea and visit their 360 high-tech water park. This is a hub for beach sports, water sports, and outdoor activity in the Swansea Bay area. There's a beach boot camp and other free events here like well-being sessions, health walks, and the chance to join one of their many clubs for the day, such as the Nordic Walking Club. Then it's off to the Swansea Sport and Leisure Complex. This is nicknamed the LC. Now this is one of the destinations where I suddenly hooked all of my roommates. Now they're all really interested in going in Wales. It's on the top of their bucket list. And it's because the LC is the Wales' biggest indoor water park. It includes the Master Blaster, which is a white-knuckle roller coaster water slide. There's also a wave pool, a lazy river, several aqua slides, an aqua tube, the LC Lagoon, and a volcano ride. There's also something they do every Tuesday night called the Adrenaline Night, and you can imagine in a high-powered water park like the LC that this experience is quite the adventure in and of itself. You can also climb at their state-of-the-art indoor climbing facility, which is excellent if you're preparing for Snowdonia's challenging climbs, which we'll get to later on in the itinerary. But the LC, is by far the top tourist attraction in Wales, 6 years running. For surfers and explorers, we can visit the Rosalie Bay and Gower Peninsula, which Lauren touched upon earlier. This is not just perfect for sunsets, it's also complete with a genuine shipwreck. There's 3 miles of golden sand beach, and it's the ideal spot with a flourishing surfing community to boot. If we continue along the southwest coast on day 5, adventurers can finally delve into this newfounded sport everyone's talking about in Wales, and it's called co-steering. Now, co-steering in Pembrokeshire is become huge. It's blown the adventure and active communities away. The idea of co-steering is actually a physical activity along the zone of a rocky coastline, and you cannot use a boat, surfboard, or any other craft. It's just you rock pooling, ocean swimming, cliff diving, and scramble climbing as you go. There's also a lot of King's Head adventures while you're there, while you're coast-steering. You can participate in gorge walking, kayaking, climbing, and other adventurous activities. There's also a state-of-the-art campsite while we're along the Pembroke coastline, the Forest campsite, which is voted by the Times as the coolest camping in Britain. If hill walkers enthusiasts are up to the challenge, you can walk the Pembroke Coast National Trail and meet us there at the campsite just out of Cardigan. Now this offers 4 types of tented accommodations as well as modern crog lofts, which are based on traditional Welsh cottages, and boutique-level comfort camping as well. Days 6 to 8 will take us into Abersoch, a lively village and popular coastal seaside. Now that's far, far north from where we were the day before. Abersoch is a tourist center specializing in sailing, windsurfing, jet skiing, and surfing is well known because of the large swells. It's also an area surrounded with bars and restaurants. It makes an amazing boat trip, and surf lessons are also available. Days 7 and 8, we can delve deeper into Welsh culture and adventure by exploring the mining town of Blaenau Festiniog in the heart of Snowdonia National Park. Blaenau Festiniog, for everyone, if everyone needs to know how to pronounce that correctly. There's several major opportunities. I'm going to go really fast. I see we're running out of time. There's slate mines, walking in caves and quarries, staying in state-of-the-art campgrounds, again, fishing, kayaking, and exploring surrounding mountains. There's also 2 facilities here, Bounce Below and Zip World. Bounce Below is an underground trampoline complex. There's no maximum age. Anyone can come in, anyone can go into these deep underground caverns in a historic and disused slate cavern and bounce around on 3 giant trampolines held by a 60-foot netting. A part of that is Zip World Titan. This is where I'm going to just quickly talk about zip lining. It's the newest pre-existing zip line in the world. It's a only 4-person zip line, the longest zip line in the Northern Hemisphere and the fastest zip line. Skipping ahead, we'll go to day 9 in Conwy. We're just outside of Snowdonia. This is the last day. I picked this day as a beautiful hike along the coast at low tide for those who wish to take it easy on their last day. But for those who crave one last experience in altitude, there's a visit to a treetop adventure for the budding arborists. It's a high-level adventure course 50 feet in the air above the Conwy Valley. So these are the 2 itineraries that we have. I'm going to pass this back over to Ian. He's going to talk a little bit about the accommodations before we end our webinar.
Hello. I'm sorry if this is taking a bit long, but there's so much information to pass out there. We have put a list of various accommodations on here, places to stay. You can find them on our website. We'll pass them along to you. It's just that there's so many diverse accommodations that you can enjoy in Wales. You can castle stays, long stays, short stays, lodges, everything that you can think of, but we'll be happy to send that information to you and keep you posted on that. Very briefly, I just want to remind you that we're here to assist with any ideas, special interest you require. We will be, I've noted on here too that you would have loved to, we'll be happy to send those. Sorry? And I'm just going to pass over to Lauren Summers at Visit Wales to sign off, and then we'll be available for questions and answers.
Hi there. Sorry, everybody. I just was muted, so I didn't want to make any background noise. But I'm back, and thank you so much for your attention. You have on your last slide here our contact information. Definitely, please reach out to Connection Tours to talk about itineraries and ideas for how you can take all this great information and translate it into tours for your clients. They have a wonderful in-house destination clinic that covers Wales as well as the rest of Great Britain. So please get in touch with them for that. You see their email address there. As I said before, I'm in New York. I am available to answer any questions that you have about the destination. Although I have to say I'm super impressed with the information Connection Tours have presented, and I think that they're clearly experts on the destination. More importantly, please contact me if you would like to become a Wales specialist, because we have a program that allows you to be listed on our website to receive referrals from clients who are looking for tours to Wales. And we also have a newsletter that comes out 5 times a year to update you on all the latest with products. So I want to leave us a few minutes for questions, and I'm going to pass it back to Baxter so they can facilitate some of the questions.
Thank you, everybody, for taking the time to join us. It seems as though the response has been very positive. So at this point in time, I would like to open the floor for questions. Does anybody have any questions for Lauren at Visit Wales or Ian and Samantha at Connection Tours? Oh, lots of questions. Okay. So once again, if anybody has any questions for Lauren or Ian, please let us know. All right, so do we offer any fam trips for agents in Canada? I'll pass that one over to Visit Wales because I believe they have something lined up for you guys.
Well, I can speak on behalf of both Visit Wales and Connections Tours to say that we are putting together some ideas for a fam trip that we would host in the fall of 2015. So if you are on the Connection Tours email distribution list, that's the best way to find out about that fam trip. We do usually try to do one fam trip a year. So if you're part of our specialist program, that's another good way to find out when we have fam trips. We invite agents who are in our specialist program first, and in this case, because we're partnering with Connections Tours, it would be our list as well as their list.
That's a good point, because we are encouraging the Brit Agent program as well for educational. But as far as FAMs are concerned as well, many projects that come up, such as if there's a performance group or a garden group or specific programs that you'll be looking at, we will sponsor, Connection Tours will sponsor a FAM for you, because if it is based on a niche market, that's the information you want to find out. If you've got adventure travelers, if you've got gardeners, if you've got foodies, we want to put together an applicable program that you can go and visit prior to travel, or even your client can come over as a site inspection. So we're happy to host that, but just keep in contact with us, and we will definitely keep in contact with you.
All right, so we've also got a question from Mathilde and from Thelma, sorry. So Thelma wants to know what ages for children on a tour, and Mathilde would like to know if Wales is more economical than, say, England.
Good questions. Okay, well, I can answer as far as value is concerned. When I've been putting together itineraries, I've found that accommodations are less expensive in Wales than England. And it is, obviously, as we've explained, it's a very unique destination, but my main issue is accommodations, because when we're looking at the other factors of putting a program together, going out dining can be a little bit less expensive as well. But as you probably know, with the UK, throughout the whole of the UK, it's a very regional issue as well. A pint of beer in London that probably costs you about 50p more than it would in Manchester. Of course, and that applies to Wales as well. What was the thing about children, sorry?
What are the ages for children on a tour?
Minimum age, there is no minimum age. We've taken, of course, performance groups. We've taken the Calgary Children's Choir, for instance, where basically they have their own escorts and they have parents and so forth that come along with them. There is no minimum, really. It's whatever everybody feels comfortable with.
Okay, and Debbie would like to know if there are castle tours to go into the castle.
Did you want to take that one, Lauren? Sorry.
Yes, actually, Debbie, I was just typing your response because it's kind of a multi-pronged answer. So if you just take a look at the chat window, you'll see some details there. But the answer is yes, there are, and you would want to talk to Connection Tours about how you could set up a guided castle tour program, or whether you wanted to just see one particular castle with a guide. So lots of different ways you can do that, but the answer is yes.
All right.
Yeah, we do have regional guides as well that we have on contract. They will basically, such as for Snowdonia, for Brecon, for South Wales, for Cardiff guides, etc. They're very, very focused guides. They're regional guides, and they obviously have a great background to their regions.
Okay, and And it seems as though Jay's question about who to email has been answered. So just one last comment. If you did have to leave or you would like an extra copy of the webinar, please don't worry. We will be sending out a recording of it generally within the next 24 to 48 hours. So if you have a question that you'd like to go back through or just see how the questions were answered, by all means, that will be made available to you. Are there any other questions at this time? Going once, going twice. I see Connection Tours is typing. Fantastic. Okay, so again, last call for questions. If not, we'd like to thank you for joining us today, and I would like to extend a very large thank you to Lauren at Visit Wales and Ian and Samantha at Connection Tours. It is an amazing destination, and I'm personally very excited to now go visit it. So thank you again for joining us, and have a great afternoon, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks again, and have a good one.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.